Oh, hello, I'm Camden Walker for CapitalWeatherGang.com. Thanks so much for joining me on our weekly Sunday Sunset Chats. Anytime you need us, we're at CapitalWeatherGang.com. My latest forecast is at CWG.news/latest. And for more on our drought that is slowly growing despite our recent rains, go to CWG.news/drought. Dan Stillman put that together, a great roundup of how dry we are in the region. And up there, our forecast at a glance. This week is going to be below average with its temperatures. We have normally this time of year temperatures in the area of 70, 71, even sometimes 72 degrees for an average, depending on where you are in the region for your high temperatures. And we're going to stay below that, not too chilly, but it's a pretty cool kind of early April feel for this upcoming work week. Rain chances are staying pretty moderate Wednesday, Thursday. We could see higher rain chances by Friday, but we'll go into that pattern in a moment. Good evening, David and Charlene. Indeed, allergies, we'll get into that in a moment, but we've hinted at that being an issue with our dry conditions lately. Pollen has just been able to blossom like crazy. Paul says finally we're getting some spring temperatures, albeit below average, but yeah, it still feels like early April, not too bad. And David, I'm glad you are enjoying the rain chances in our forecast, albeit kind of limited rain chances on Wednesday and Thursday. Fingers crossed for Friday. Julia, thanks so much for tuning in from YouTube. I appreciate seeing you. All right. We've got this format to the precipitation this week, kind of a couple showers Wednesday, couple showers on Thursday. The rain chances kind of ramp up a little bit later Friday, and look at this rain shield coming in on Friday night. This may last into your weekends for Saturday, maybe also Sunday. We'll keep you posted, of course, at CapitalWeatherGang.com as we get closer. Rain totals, fingers crossed, this really could help our rainfall deficit, which we will talk about in more detail in a moment. An inch of rain or more throughout the region. Let's stay cautiously optimistic. In a drought kind of cycle, we sometimes see the weather models get a hair carried away with their data predictions, their rain data. So we have to think about it, the human forecasters in this type of climate in the short to medium term where rain is generally falling a little bit less than the weather models predict. We might want to shave off just a little bit from these rain totals by the time you talk to me next Sunday for our weekly Sunday Sunset Chat. We hopefully still can eke out an inch or more of rain between now and next Sunday. The bulk, and keep in mind, this is the total rain chances over the next 7 days, but the bulk of this falls between maybe, stay tuned for timing, but we think Friday afternoon, Saturday, and Sunday is the main rain chance going into the end of this week, into the weekend. Hey, Ruth Elisa, thanks so much for tuning in. And Peter, hey, and David, fingers crossed indeed for the rain. And Ruth Elisa, I wouldn't say a bunch of April showers this week, but we do have a couple potentially on Wednesday, a couple Thursday, and maybe a little bit higher rain chance, more persistent showers, and maybe even some light rain going to later Friday and Friday nights. All right, Kara's loving the below average temps right now. We should be about 71, 72 for high temperature this week at DCA Airport, Kara. So I'm glad you're enjoying 60s. Sometimes we could be at points this week about 10 degrees below average. It feels more like early April, but I don't think that's too bad. I grant you that. And all-day soaker Saturday on and off, Paul. It's hard to say right now. That's a pretty good rain shield you see at the end of this animation moving into the area on Friday into Friday night. The question marks do remain for this upcoming weekend. Is it going to be a steadier rain that makes outdoor plans pretty hard, or is it going to be on and off? And right now there's just no confidence in the precipitation forecast just yet. So stay tuned as we get closer and see more data, hopefully a little bit more consistently presented. We will be able to raise our forecast confidence on CapitalWeatherGang.com as we get closer. April should feel like spring, Gale. I couldn't agree more. I hope you're enjoying these early April temperatures this week. Right now, falling kind of about 10 degrees below average at times. We could even be stuck some spots tomorrow if we see more clouds than currently expected. We could be stuck in the 50s tomorrow, and that's definitely early spring feelings for sure. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Camden Walker for CapitalWeatherGang.com. Let me know if you have any questions or comments about the upcoming work week forecast. We're even touching on the potential rain. You know, fingers crossed we could use some rain, but the timing stinks a little bit for this upcoming weekend potentially. Yes, rain chances kind of off and on Wednesday and Thursday, maybe increasing on Friday, but I would say overall it's a fairly dry work week. And even if we are below average in temperatures, I think upper 50s to mid 60s are pretty darn pleasant for this time of year, especially if we can eke out some moments of sunshine, which, keep in mind, this sun angle, the strength of the sun, is akin to mid-August. This is the exact same sun angle and strength in the sky that we see in mid-August. So keep in mind, if you're outside, outdoors, away from shade and coverings in the middle of the day, please use that sunscreen this time of year. All right, I want to jump to the potential for the aurora tonight. I think I see Janet talking about the northern lights. Yes, indeed. We tweeted this earlier on Twitter at Capital Weather. We're following spaceweather.gov tonight, and the NWSS WPC. You can follow that handle for the Space Weather Prediction Center at NOAA, and also the Space Weather Watch here is what we have retweeted as well. Some clouds are around, but the solar wind energy is generally there. It's hard to pin down hour by hour, but if you can, maybe start looking outside after 10 p.m. or so, you might see some breaks in the clouds, and yes, down into the mid-Atlantic, there is a potential, not a guarantee, but a potential that the magnetosphere and the solar wind energies interact with each other and give us, hopefully, some colors to the sky. It might appear, and this is what I've learned the one time that I've seen the northern lights, you kind of want to use a camera on a long exposure just to see if that glow you're seeing is actually some colors hidden that are hard to perceive by the naked eye because they move so quickly. But if you do like a 3-second shutter on your phone and keep it very still, you might be able to see some color tonight to that glow. That's how it initially is perceived. It's kind of like a glow with some light pollution. It's very tricky in our latitudes to really see a lot in the way of colors, but they might be there, especially with a long exposure. Charlene is asking about the Lyrid meteor shower. I think that is still happening. Last night may have been peak, but it should still be fine to see tonight, Charlene. So wow, I now am thinking I want to see those photos. If we've got the Lyrid meteor shower combining with the northern lights tonight, that could be quite a cool combination. Ruth Elisa, happy birthday to your friend Olivia. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I'm Camden Walker for CapitalWeatherGang.com. Let's touch on our recent rain amounts. We had maybe as little as 1/10 of an inch in the driest spots, but 1.5 inches in some of the places with the downpours. But let me show you this rainfall deficit in our region. We still have up to kind of 6 inches, even a little more in the orange shadings in the region. We need 6 inches just to catch up from January 1st to where we should be today. So the rainfall deficit, while dented just a little bit in some spots that were benefiting from the downpours with our recent cold frontal passage, it has been very hit or miss, and we can expect more of this going into the warm season since the primary source of our rains are going to be hit or miss thunder showers and storms. So I want to spin positive. It's good that we saw some of the recent rains. It kind of slowed down the development of our moderate droughts, the D1 moderate drought that's in our region, but it may only pause the kind of worsening of the drought since we still have a rainfall deficit this week. And maybe these rains this upcoming weekend put a bigger dent, fingers crossed, a bigger dent into our rainfall deficit. But it is going to be some work the atmosphere has to do to give us 3 to maybe 6 inches of rain this upcoming month or two to kind of hold back this drought development and hopefully scale it back. And fingers crossed, I've been looking at kind of the longer range models. We do potentially by mid-May into the summer see a little bit wetter of a pattern, so that is some potentially good news, but low confidence as it stands now. All right, let's see. I want to thank you for tuning in to our weekly Sunday Sunset Chat. I've started the stream on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube tonight at 7:52 p.m. That is the DC Sunset time tonight. And here's your pollen report. I'm sorry to report allergy sufferers. You still have trees that are in the high category for this week, but hey, that's better than the very high category from last Sunday when I talked to you. And I'm Camden Walker. Anytime you need us, we're at CapitalWeatherGang.com, and we do these weekly 20-minute chats every week, these Q&As I appreciate hearing from you, your questions and comments. Kenny, good seeing you. Come down water, always a good mantra from you. And Julia, you're most welcome. Thanks for tuning in from YouTube. And David, I've got some tea tonight, a little bit. I think my allergies just kind of giving my throat and my voice just a little bit of a allergy coating. But hey, I'm with you, my fellow allergy sufferers. All right. Indeed, David, we did have that preliminary report near Poolesville, Maryland. An EF0 tornado did strike yesterday, it looks like. We'll get that final report probably retweeted on Twitter. Make sure you follow us at Capital Weather, and we'll keep you posted on that. Saturday temperatures, to give you a sneak peek of what we might see this upcoming weekend, more of the same from this entire work week. Temperatures generally in the 60 to 67 degree range, so that's more of the same, but this may be accompanied this upcoming Saturday by some rain chances. Fingers crossed it's a light, steady rain, and sorry for any outdoor plans, but I will kind of secretly, not so secretly, wish for a steady rain, an all-day rain. Quasi-washout is kind of what we need to keep this rain deficit and drought situation under control. Looking ahead to next work week, temperatures may be below average for one more work week. And keep in mind, when you're looking at the benchmark for what this decent probability is for below average temperatures, the benchmark for average is getting a little warmer this time of year, 73 for a high, 51 for a low. So hopefully below average for you warm weather lovers won't be leaving you too sad if you're wanting warmer temperatures. This may only mean we're in the 60s to even, low 70s is possible, since the average is now heading toward the mid-70s for next work week. So don't worry too much just yet. I don't see an overall huge cold outbreak happening. Unfortunately, I don't see a signal next work week either for above average precipitation. So we need to probably wait into the middle of May for a pattern change. That's what the kind of longer range models are portending. But there are question marks and lower confidence when you look that far out. So first, our rainfall deficit is on top. The orange areas, again, we were talking about 3 to 6 inch deficit for where the rain amount should be from January 1st to today. And even with the recent rain amounts, that kind of averaged a third of an inch to maybe 3/4 of an inch. That's good as a start, but it's not enough to really, in a widespread manner, reduce our rainfall deficit, much less the moderate drought that we're seeing in the area. Here it is, the national scope, starting that footprint expanding of that D1 moderate drought in the mid-Atlantic. So let's zoom in so you can see with some counties and state lines here in the mid-Atlantic, we are kind of the epicenter of a dry pattern recently that has started with a little bit of agricultural and gardening impact now, you've probably noticed. So I'm sorry, allergy sufferers, gardeners, and farmers, it has been a little bit of a rough start to our spring. It's just not great. But hopefully we see some rain this weekend. It could add up to an inch or more. And let's see, we've got maybe some aurora tonight, some northern lights. We're following that at spaceweather.gov. Follow us on Twitter, of course, and we'll keep you posted as we see more and more. Some reports came in already from New Zealand, which is encouraging that solar winds might be as strong as we expected in this magnetic storm. So clouds hopefully clear up a little bit after 10 p.m. tonight. Kenny, I know the allergies were not feeling great with the rain today, and indeed we've got, let's see here, our daylight there and our social media channels. I'm simulcasting to you live on all three, and the pollen is what I wanted to get to. High tree pollen with the wind today was not so great, Lori. They have been bad this month. I'm sorry to hear that. And Lori, yep, you've learned the hard way with Charlene there as well. And we've got last possibility of frost, Lori. Let's talk about that. I'm pleased to report that maybe after Tuesday morning this week, some patchy frost is possible in the region, especially kind of the higher elevations west and northwest of town. I would stay a little bit cautious if you're a gardener or farmer planting some of those most sensitive plants. If you're in the brightest yellows on this map, you have a chance still for one more frost or freeze as we get toward the end of this month. But if you're in the reds or darker yellows, you have a pretty darn good chance that your last frost or freeze is behind you. So that's some good news. We're getting there. The growing season is getting going with more reliability and less chance of frosts and freezes. But of course, I will always use as my benchmark over in Shenandoah County along I-81 there can be a frost many years still near Mother's Day, so keep that in mind as well if you're over in the Blue Ridge Mountains. And yeah, Lori, we're on the same page. Mother's Day 2020. Maybe you're over along the I-81 corridor or north and west of town as well in a higher elevation. I love that. We are on the same page. All right, here's your forecast at a glance and the latest on our drought at CWG.news/drought. A great write-up by Dan Stillman discussing some of what we have touched on with my graphics here during our weekly Sunday Sunset Chat. I'm Camden Walker on the air another 4 minutes or so. My latest forecast at CWG.news/latest. The PM update covers a couple of those pop-up showers that are happening tonight. They're diminishing quickly. Next, in a couple hours, we should start seeing fewer and fewer clouds, hopefully away from city lights, making the aurora borealis visible, and maybe even 1 or 2 stray meteors with the Lyrid meteor shower. Paul, most welcome. Laurie, you're most welcome. Thanks so much for tuning in from Facebook. And rain chances this week, we're just kind of covering Wednesday, Thursday. A couple shower chances are possible. Rain chances, kind of where you want to take an umbrella, should wait until Friday night. I'll say Friday afternoon, Friday night. Stay tuned as we get toward the end of the week for more details on the amounts of rain and the timing of the rain. There is a chance we see a little bit of a washout this upcoming weekend, but low confidence when looking that far out. There is just a signal in the atmosphere I should report to you that we could see a shield of rain move toward us by late Friday into Saturday, maybe lasting through Sunday. All right, Charlene, you're passing along some great information on your gardening tips. That's fantastic. And Lewis, you'll be working outside this week. Make sure you use that sunscreen Monday and Tuesday when we still could see some ample sunshine before a couple showers modeled here in this animation by the Euro model. Couple Wednesday, couple showers Thursday, but look at this Friday. This rain shield really moves in by the afternoon and the evening hours. So that's great news for our rain deficit and our drought. But you'll like the below average temperatures, Lewis. I love that. So you're loving the feelings of early April temperatures this upcoming week, and you probably aren't even going to worry about those isolated spotty showers Wednesday and Thursday either. Yes, David, it would be good to get a soaking rain on Friday into the weekend. Stay tuned, capitalweathergang.com, as we get closer. And I do hope you have no moving to do, Paul, this upcoming Saturday. Again, though, with low confidence looking at Saturday and Sunday's potential rain, I'd say don't make any decisions based on this low confidence data just yet. You know, we'll kind of let you know when we get toward medium or medium high confidence with this upcoming weekend's potentially rainy pattern. That's when you can kind of bank a little bit better on what the forecast might be and then plan around it, make your decisions. It's always wise just to wait for something above low, just pure low confidence. But I would, be remiss if I didn't report the signals for this upcoming weekend being a rainy signal. All right, so here's our animation just for a couple showers Wednesday, Thursday. That main rain shield holds off until Friday, it looks like, as of now. Rain totals, fingers crossed, could be over an inch of rain by the time you talk to me next Sunday for our weekly Sunday Sunset Chat. We'll be speaking about 5 minutes earlier. Tonight's sunset was at 7:52 p.m., and I'm on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Please join me on all 3 of those channels if you can, but I'm simulcasting in case you can only be on one tonight. And your pollen report right here, trees are still high, down from last Sunday's very high reading. So a little bit of shower activity kind of helping keep pollen under control, but has not been good for allergy sufferers, gardeners, or farmers with these dry conditions recently. All right, in the last minute, I want to run through Saturday's temperatures. Could be pretty close to our 60 to 67 degree range that we're seeing for the work week as well. Rain could accompany. We'll keep you posted. Average, looking out to next work week, below average temperatures, decent probability next work week. But if you're a mild to warm weather lover, keep in mind our averages, this map is relative to average. Our averages are now getting warmer and warmer, 73 degrees for an average high by the middle of next work week. So don't fret too much when you see these maps with blue indicating some below average temperatures potentially coming in next work week. Precipitation, I'm annoyed. I can't even give you the chance for leaning above average for precipitation next work week, but at least we've had a little bit of a help with our recent rain deficit here pictured on this map. 3 inches in some of the yellows are needed to make up for where we should be by this point in the year since January 1st, and 6 inches or more in the oranges where we should be from January 1st to today for rain amounts. And I won't say bad things about our rains earlier this weekend. a third of an inch to almost nearly an inch, and even over an inch in some of your luckier spots with those downpours. So it is good news in the near term, but kind of medium to long term, the drought signal is here in the Mid-Atlantic. Look at that from a national perspective. You can see we're one of the drier spots east of the Mississippi River. And zooming in, yes, indeed, still plenty of moderate D1 droughts in the region. Luckily, no worse than that as it stands now. All right, and one of the last things I will leave you with is the potential for the aurora borealis tonight. And we've had some reports of the aurora being seen down in New Zealand. So there's a chance that there's enough solar wind energy coming toward us in this geomagnetic storm tonight. We then need to keep our fingers crossed that not only does that energy keep up for us well after dark, you can get away from city lights, you can get some breaks in the clouds. And keep in mind, we could even see a stray Lyrid meteor or two streaming through the sky if you're in a very dark spot. So follow spaceweather.gov. We'll keep you posted at capitalweatherking.com and on Twitter at Capital Weather. Let me leave you with our forecast at a glance and our CWG.news/drought write-up and my latest PM update forecast here. Hello in Portland, Gary. I hope you're doing well. And rain dance from last weekend is working. Paul, fingers crossed we can get those rain chances slowly moved up with a couple showers Wednesday, Thursday. Steadier rain hopefully on Friday. And David, I appreciate you tuning in. Really good seeing you. And hi, Maria. Thanks for tuning in here. I'm sorry to leave you, but anytime you need us, we're at capitalweathergang.com. I'm Camden Walker signing off and wishing you a good week. I'll see you next Sunday. Bye for now.